So, I have been thinking about whether or not I need to do this video or not, reaction to it, because I know I say a lot of times I try to avoid being political, but considering how so many people on the internet constantly seem to be obsessed with demanding people's political opinions, if I ever am successful in achieving my goal of being popular, I doubt I'm eventually going to be able to fully, avoid being political. So, you know what? I'm just going to head and say, screw it and just go along with it. And let's let's let the chips fall and let them be what they're going to be. So, speaking of political people, we have Shu, which, by the way, Shu, love the pause. I have you on there right now. She let out another video, and she's talking about the Iran war. Now, Shu is a liberal, and she does not like war. And I'm not a fan either. I'm a historian. I'm not one of these idiots who think that all wars are swift and glorious and magnificent. That was the morons who said that about the Civil War. They said the same thing about the First World War. When people say, a war is going to be swift, glorious, and magnificent, it usually turns out to be very nasty and bloody. And I don't know where Iran's going to. We've already crippled the fuck out of them, left, right, and center, so I'm hoping it turns out to be very good and very quick. But, fuck happens, so we have no clue. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and watch this and react to it because, you know what? It's practically a tradition now for YouTubers and VTubers who react to Shu. Woman's got 2.41 million followers. Why not go ahead and ride on her? I shouldn't say that. I ride on the coattail. Coattail! I said coattail. Okay, I'm going to do this before I get in trouble. Miss Footwear on Skull, please continue.
What happened? Well, a few weeks ago, our government had a That's So Raven premonition. They had a vision, and they saw into the future. They saw that Iran was going to attack Israel, so we went ahead and attacked Iran. Now we're in some bullshit war. No, I am not joking. That's basically what happened. Despite the Pentagon saying there was no proof Iran was going to attack, it came to us in a dream. Source? We made it the fuck up.
To be fair, it's fucking Iran. These assholes will literally launch a mortar. They'll launch a missile for the fun of it just because they have enough time. They are the funders of Hezbollah and almost every single fucking terrorist organization in the Middle East. The only big terrorist attack that they didn't fund was 9/11. That was funded by some fucking Arab who had a dialysis issue. And I'm not even going to go into the history of us having to chase his ass down. Hold on, let me adjust myself. I'm too small. Oh God, if I had a quarter for every time my girlfriend said that to me. There we go. All right, I have to be big boy when I fight Shu because she needs somebody who is a big boy to challenge her on some things. Because I'm not a fan of war. I don't like it when we go to war. The Afghanistan situation dragged on too long. Vietnam dragged on too long. The only war I'm a fan of is the freaking Desert Storm. Norman Schwarzkopf and General... damn it, I always forget his name. He was the supplier. He was the logistical master of it who did Desert Shield and Desert Farewell. Those guys, I read his book, Moving Mountains. Amazing book. Very good to read. Those guys are the pinnacle of great war because... As Sun Tzu says, a great general, the greatest of generals, defeats his enemy without ever raising his sword. But in absence of that, the greatest general is he who defeats his enemy swiftly. And that is probably the fastest war we've ever fought in American history. No, we fought the Colombian War for the Free Panama. That was literally one shot from one cannon, and it was over. You're welcome, Panama. But how this war is going to end, I don't know. But, let's not give Iran the benefit of the doubt. They're still a bunch of fuckheads. Anyway.
Now, there are many reasons floating around for this war. Israel, China, Russia, oil,
It's mostly
Iran
China.
being 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb for the
No.
past 40 years, bringing democracy to Iran,
Fuck
and
that.
many other things. And we can discuss those things. Maybe it's all those things at the same time. But there is one thing I feel is just not getting enough attention. And that is the many people in our government who believe in a literal doomsday prophecy about this war and are possibly pushing our president to take the necessary steps to make it happen. No, I am not joking.
I know
no,
what you're
this is
talking
not a
about.
conspiracy theory. This is not the Candace Owens chat.
Is she gonna go into Gomer? If anybody doesn't know what she's talking about, there's a thing called Gomer, which is a idea. It's in the Bible. It's like the nation of the land of Gomer shall face against Israel in the end of days. It's like it's very well known of those among biblical scholars and whatnot. So I'm curious if that's what she's trying to talk about. But like, I will hold off and let her speak. Go ahead, Shu.
This is a real thing, and we gotta talk about it. Now, I know I keep saying the next video is going to be a slop video. I know, I'm sorry, but things just keep
This
happening.
is a slop
But that's
video.
okay, it will be over quick, and then we can get to the more important issues, like making fun of women on TikTok.
I'm coming back. I'm back. Hold on. I cannot let her get away with this. I cannot. I get to do this too.
So in this video, we will talk about this.
And because air. I have a can too, woman.
War. We will discuss the strange characters who are encouraging it, the doomsday cult they belong to, and I will
Wouldn't
crash
call it
out
a cult.
little bit.
Of course you will.
Okay. A lot of it. The
Nice
Iran war
outfit,
is
by
an
the way.
extremely hot topic that affects literally everything, from the stock market to gas prices to possible World War III. It feels like I
Which
wake
is
up every
bullshit.
morning and like 5 major historical events have happened while I was sleeping overnight.
Welcome to
So
2026!
it's pretty hard to keep up with the news lately. And that's why for 5 years now, I have been using today's sponsor, Ground News. So let's quickly give them a
Gee, how
shout out
did I
before
know?
we get into this video, shall we?
I'm reacting, so I
Ground
let her
News is a
chill.
website and an app that gives readers a fun,
gonna
easy,
drink my
and
smoothie.
transparent way to read the
It's
news
bananas,
from all
milk,
across
and,
the political spectrum,
chocolate protein
from
powder.
left, right,
I
and
need it, I'm
center.
tired.
Every story comes with a quick visual
Yeah,
breakdown
darling,
of
you're not
political
centered.
bias that helps you understand the full story and really make sure you're seeing both sides. It even tells you who these outlets are owned by, which is really cool.
Now that
Ground
I
News
like.
makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias can really affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about how Trump says he's postponing strikes on Iran power plants. A right-wing outlet covered it like, oil goes down and the stock exchanges go back up to the green after Donald Trump talks about Iran. And a left-wing outlet covered it like, surprise! Trump tacoed out of his plan to obliterate
Tacoed?
Iranian power plants. As you can
hell do you
see,
mean by
very
tacoed?
different vibes here. One of my favorite
I wonder
features on Ground
why.
News has to be the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Trump is still more popular than Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom, despite everything that's going on. But they're still
'Cause
going to
it
run
probably
them in
is.
2028, aren't they? 29 sources covered this.
Yep.
70% of them were right-wing,
It's
and
gonna be
only
Kamala
15%
again.
were left-wing, probably because it's a little embarrassing. I have been using Ground News for years now. It is one of the first apps
sounds like
I
a good
look at
app.
when I
I'm
wake up in the
personally not gonna
morning.
bother
But
with it.
don't
I
just
have
take
Twitter.
my word for it.
More
Even
fun.
the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all,
I'm sorry. Are we gonna take the Nobel Peace Prize seriously after the fucking people they've like given it to? Really? Are we really gonna do that?
currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to get all of their amazing features. So go to ground.news/shoe, that's ground.news/shoe, or use the QR code right here on screen, or the
Scan
link in the video description.
There's the link.
I think what they're doing is really important, especially right now. I feel like we need to see the news in a more transparent and balanced way. It is just a really great app, and I
In the
recommend
words of
it.
Thomas
so thank you, Ground
Jefferson,
News, for
the man who does not read the newspaper is more well informed of current events than the man who does.
sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad, as always.
I always let you
Right?
chill.
Now, let's get back to the video. Happy day 24 of the special 2-week military operation, everybody.
Oh, here we
go.
go.
We did it. Mission accomplished. I feel like every day I wake up and Trump is like, we won. And then something else blows up. And then again, he's like, we won. And then
to give a context right now, as of this moment I'm recording this video, Iran's entire navy has been sunk. It's a fucking coral reef outside their country. Their entire air force has been wiped out. I don't think they have a single airplane left. God knows I'm pretty sure all their F-4 Phantoms are gone. And we have not even deployed our F-22s. The Raptor still sits in its freaking hangar, unused. If you don't know what F-22 is, go home, research. You don't know enough about modern society and warfare to actually have an opinion on this. We have eradicated almost every one of their bases. We have lost 14 people, I think. 14 soldiers have died because of these long-range bullshits they keep launching and hitting us with. 14! They have lost, I believe, the last tally was 1,456. That's 100 and something to 1 kill ratio. I'm sorry, that's winning no matter what your opinion is. I feel like Americans have become so used to kicking the ever-living shit out of the enemy without even trying, that if we take the slightest scratch, we're like, it wasn't a perfect event, like, it's kind of like Mortal Kombat. If you don't get to hear flawless victory, you failed. We're winning. The fuckers just don't want to give in. They're even running out of drones. But like, I'm sorry. I interrupted her. Let me let her finish.
then we're back at war, but it's not a war. But we won the war. Hey, maybe it will be over by the time this video uploads, because apparently Iran wants to talk to JD Vance. JD Vance is apparently the peacemaker here. Imagine the Iran war. Imagine possible World War III.
They don't want Trump.
In the hands of a shoe-on headband. We're all gonna die. People word for word, bar for bar, repeating the NPC talking points that we heard during the Iraq War. This Middle Eastern country is building weapons of mass destruction. They hate America. We're gonna bring them democracy. It's all the same. It's all the same people pushing for this shit. Only this time we have social media, and we are seeing war propaganda from all sides being debunked right in front of our eyes. Social media has truly been the worst thing that has ever happened to the government. Imagine getting away with decades and decades of propaganda now being debunked in real time by people called Pee Poo Poo 69. Brutal. Sorry, I have to white balance my camera. I'm using... It's story time! I'm gonna be the new Miss Rachel. Oh. Today's number is 7, and we're gonna talk about Tower 7!
Why did you bring that up? Oh my god. By the way, did you notice that her camera is inverted? So this is not what she's actually posed as. She's actually posed as with it reversed. So she actually has the American flag backwards? Or is she having it assault forward as it's worn on the American uniform? Curious that.
Anyway, I'm not the kind of person that's oh, I hope Iran wins. That's I saw people say that, that is psychotic. I don't want to go down with the USS Great Satan. You know what I mean? If we're in a war, I want to win the war. I just don't understand why there has to be a war. We know regime change doesn't work. We've tried this already. It never...
It has not worked recently. Regime change worked in the Second World War. It worked quite effectively. Germany, we removed its party. We gave it a new one. Italy, we removed its party. We gave it a new one. Japan, we wrote its freaking constitution! It's doing quite well. So it's not that regime change does not work. It's that modern leadership is so fucking incompetent that they don't know how to do regime change. These morons have never stopped and think about it. And most of the time, it's because they don't want regime change. They're going into war for another purpose. The entire bullshit about Iraq and all this other shit was just so people could literally say they finished someone else's business. That's all. There was no reason for us to bother with Iraq. I'm glad we did it. Fuck Saddam Hussein. But, the problem with me is, when you set up shit, stop fucking with it and go away. Let the people handle it. If they fuck it up, come back in, whack-a-mole them again, and say, bad dog, learn your lesson. Like, seriously, there is no reason for you to manipulate shit. I mean, that's the thing about, we did good in World War II. After a little while, we stepped back and let the Germans, Italians, and Japanese run their own shit. We keep manipulating crap. Why? Because fuckers want to keep making money. That was another, it's just, that's the problem. We know how to do it. We just haven't done it in a very, very long time. But hopefully we figure it out and say, maybe we shouldn't be fucking idiots.
Works. We always make shit worse. We're not the world police. There are so many people all over the...
We're not the world police, but every time something bad happens, America, why aren't you helping? Oh, you should give more money to Ukraine. You mean the fact we've already given double the amount of the entire fucking world combined? Yet we're not the world police.
World suffering. But our priority as America is to take care of Americans.
True.
And the American people are suffering. And now we're asking for $200 billion for war. $200 billion. Notice nobody's like, who's gonna pay for that? When it's shit like war, but when it's for your mom's
that's still a drop in the bucket considering the trillions we spend on other shit.
diabetes medication. Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. $200 billion while American situations have not gotten any better. In fact, they're just going to get worse now. Everything is going to get more expensive, but that's okay, apparently. That's okay. That's not a concern.
The U.S. economy is fundamentally sound, and that if it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now.
Consumers, that's what we are to these people. Just good little obedient bug people, gonna go see a Marvel movie, maybe buy a Labubu, eat a little Dubai chocolate. We have no soul, no...
Okay, now to be fair, when he says consumers, that's not the same thing as citizens. Consumers are exactly what you just said, people who just buy shit. I don't think they're the same thing. And, yeah, it is going to affect the market, but who knows? We'll see what happens when it's over.
Lives, no families to take care of. We are just consumed. And when we can't take care of those families, you know what their solution is? What's their solution? Take fewer trips to Starbucks. If I say what I am thinking, I will be banned off YouTube, so I will simply...
That's generally a
gas is going to be like a
good thing to do anyway.
But that's okay, guys. Short-term pain, long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pain.
It's talking points. Of course they're going to puppet it.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain.
Short-term pain for American consumers.
Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
What in the NPCS is this? It is your patriotic American duty to unplug the TVs in your parents' and grandparents' house right now. Destroy their satellite dishes. Log them out of Facebook. It is up to us to stop the boomers from sending the Zoomers to another war in the Middle East. The amount of people who were anti-regime change war, like last Thursday, who have completely 180'd is fucking insane. I literally have no theory of mind for being that.
Let me clarify when it comes to regime change war. We're not doing a war right now. When people put boots on the ground, it's war. Right now, we're just fucking them up and smacking them around like a bitch. When you tell people they have to go with boots on the ground, then I'm going to be very much against it. Because now you're getting us involved in something that we don't need to bother with. The Iranian people, God bless them, they've already lost a couple thousand to this fucker. But, they need to do something. America should not send troops to fight. By all means, keep bombing the fuckers all day. I will spend money on bombs to, pinpoint these fuckers and nuke their homes every minute. Because fuck the Iranian leadership and the Ayatollah. They've been nothing but absolutely abusive and violent towards women and people of any other identity and ideal and belief other than themselves. They are horribly intolerant, bigoted assholes. So fuck them. They don't even like other Muslims, so don't go charging and saying it's Islamophobic or anything. They don't even like other Muslims. They just care about their own power. They're fucking dictators. So I will gladly play whack-a-mole with them and our missiles all day. Do not tell any American soldiers or Marines to go in there and start clearing houses. Now, again, they're deploying 82nd Airborne and think a couple thousand Marines. What they're going to do with them, I don't know. This is publicly available information, by the way. What they're going to do with them, I don't know. But if they send them in there to actually do anything other than, like, maybe secure an island for our own use to keep bombing these bitches harder, I'm not going to be very supportive of this. That is my stance on it.
Hyper partisan brained. Like, a lot of these people are just, like, totally for this now because it's Trump doing it. Some of you are cattle. Some of you are weak. You are submissive and breedable. The only politician I simp for is...
Wait. Don't do that! Now my mind's somewhere else. Hold on. I thought about Mugglite for a minute. Anyway.
Huey Long, and that's because he's dead and can't disappoint me. The worst part about this whole war thing is not the death and destruction and possible economic collapse and nuclear fallout, but the fact that it's good for the Democrats. They will probably win midterms, and if things get worse, they will probably win 2028 too.
Nah.
Without learning any lesson, without changing at all, they will literally run on Orange Man bad and win. I am tired of politics. I am tired of voting. Take away the 19th Amendment. I don't want it. I don't want it. You can, the men...
Well, I mean, if you ask us to, I won't exactly say no.
You can have it. The men can deal with it. I'm done. I'm tired of voting for pee-pee or poo-poo and always getting diarrhea. I'm done.
Why not? They're the best mixer. Yay! That was quick!
Sorry. Mommy's not mad. She's just disappointed. Anyway, like I said, there are many stated reasons behind this war. One of the things people blame this war on a lot is Israel. Many people believe that Iran was not an immediate threat to us, and that this is just another conflict that Israel is dragging us into, making us fight their war for them. Because of this and everything that's happened in Gaza, Israel's PR is in the toilet. Yeah. Polls are showing Israel is becoming extremely unpopular, especially with young people.
Yeah, okay, so I'm pro-Israel on a lot of stuff, but even as time goes on, they're getting a little full of themselves. Okay, they need to start acting more like Solomon and less like Rehoboam. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you've never read the Bible. So I'm not going to waste time going into detail. But, like, they are really seriously acting a little out of pocket, like... They need to remember, like, yes, you are surrounded by enemies, but you've made peace with many of them, but maybe cool the fuck down on some things.
It's getting so bad that the Israeli government literally had to pay internet influencers to say good things about them. No, I'm not kidding. This is a real thing that happened. It was filed with the U.S. Department of Justice.
Again, speaking of biblical references, they're doing the Esther Project. If you don't know, there's the book of Esther. She is a Jewish, she was a Jewess who became, is she Jewish or is she Benjamite? I can't remember. She's one of the tribes. She actually married Xerxes, king of Persia, and became one of his wives and was considered one of his favorite wives. And through her influence to him, she gained favor for the Israelite people and gained them the right to not only rebuild their temple, but also defend themselves when other people tried to slaughter them. So it's a full book in the Bible. So that's interesting that they're naming that after her in an attempt to gain people to. I mean, it's an obvious reference that kind of gives away the hand.
They undisclosed paid a bunch of YouTubers, TikTokers, Twitter personalities to run defense for them last year, and they are most likely still doing that today. Imagine losing
Mossad
the internet PR war to 20-year-olds with anime avatars making TikTok edits of Jeffrey Epstein and Agartha. And listen, I know many people are tired of everybody blaming Israel for everything. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe this morning. It was Israel. They associate criticism of Israel with people like Hassan Piker or Candace Owens. They are just tired, and I get it. Hopefully, I can bring some nuance into this.
Well, again, that's kind of the problem when it comes to being critical of Israel. Like, when you have Dumb and Dumber being the loudest voices on it, most people are not going to take you seriously. But, like, they do a lot of shit that they need to seriously back off of. but like no one's going to listen literally when you have the dumbest people in the world. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble looking at this video. Why the fuck does she have black bars on the side? Woman, aspect ratio, please.
Discussion. Not everything is Israel's fault, but when it comes to the Middle East in particular, when it comes to American foreign policy, Israel is extremely relevant. This is a historical fact, and if we are going to be attached
they're
to
the people we can trust most
country,
likely to
we should
back us in
absolutely
that
be allowed
place.
to talk about it without a bitch in our ear calling it anti-Semitism. It is 2026. We are done with the thought-terminating buzzwords. We are done with the ists and the isms. These don't work anymore. It's not racist to criticize Black Lives Matter. It's not sexist to criticize feminism. It is not anti-Semitic to criticize a foreign country. And frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do for Jewish people right now is conflate the nation of Israel with Jewish people as a whole. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you don't want the world to end in some kind of nuclear holocaust? What are you? An anti-Semite? It's like when there's legislation to give pedophiles the death penalty and people come out like, this is transphobic. It's like,
what?
What do you mean by that? It's good to question mainstream narratives. That's why this entire channel was created in the first place. We are here to criticize the media and the government that has a history of lying to us, especially on topics like this. If you don't think that's totally valid and normal, and you think I'm an anti-Semite for this, well, I have been called racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic for the past 15 years. Honestly, what is one more to add to the list? When this all initially popped off, one of my first tweets about this was this. Many people were confused as to exactly what I was talking about.
It's actually crazy. A bunch of people in our government don't know how to read the Bible, so now we worship a foreign country that was created 80 years ago. Huh? What? It's actually crazy. A bunch of people in our government don't know how to read the Bible, so now we worship a foreign country that was created 80 years ago. Shu, you kind of lost me on this one. You're going to have to explain.
So let me explain it simply. There are people in our government right now who believe in a biblical prophecy about Israel. Pete Hegseth, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson, Mike Huckabee, and many, many others believe a massive war surrounding the Middle East will bring Jesus Christ back. They want this. To them, this is the good ending. We'll all be saved. Great. Awesome. Unfortunately, many Americans and many people all around the world will die in a giant nuclear war. Not great. Bad, even. This particular religion is called dispensationalism, a type of evangelical Christianity that became popular in the 20th century. That's right, today we are talking about the EQ. I
remember John Hagee talking a lot about this. He was always one of the fire breathers about this when it came to preaching.
Evangelical question. Evangelicals are one of the largest religious groups in America, and they are a huge, important voter bloc. Important detail to remember. What you have to understand is evangelical Christianity is absolutely fucking obsessed with the end times. This isn't just like an offhand thing that's mentioned in the Bible and they bring up sometimes. No, this is like their whole fucking thing. It's like all their talks, their sermons, their books. Basically, they are extremely horny for the end of the world. And many of those people are in the president's ear right now.
There's a lot of people in Trump's ear. I mean, Trump is the president. He's going to have a lot of people in his ear. The question is not who's in his ear. The question is who has his ear and who he's leaning into and listening to. And I don't think I think he might be religious. I don't know how religious he may be. I think he puts more of a show on there. I think he's way more secular than a lot of people think he is. But, like, I mean, how many people of deep religious ideals of Christian faith are you going to see actually catch a rainbow gay flag and actually flapping around on stage like he likes it? Like, I think it's more like costume for him. Like, maybe he has some religious faith to him, but I don't think he's like the most devout dude. So I think he's more just keeping these people around to gain support.
Strike and 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 strike. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda ata ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa tata rite eke banda ata riki.
That schizo is Paul Paula White Kane, Trump's current spiritual advisor. Like most evangelicals, she considers Israel her spiritual home, thinks Christians should be mandated to go to Israel in order to go to heaven, and believes
Okay, stop.
that backing Israel is a biblical mandate. Now, what the f am I talking about? What
As somebody who is a devout Christian, I can't stand these people.
What do these people mean by biblical mandate? Well, thanks to the Scofield Bible, a version of the Bible that placed little, like, notes next to everything that explained the biblical text, evangelicals believe it is their duty to protect Israel. You're probably thinking, like, okay,
so just biblically, I can show you multiple points in the old texts where there is points where you are not supposed to protect Israel, where God is angry with Israel, and when Judea or Israel is helped by another country or another people, those people get crushed too. It is not your job to protect Israel. That's God. He will take care of Israel, and when they do good, he will take care of them. When they do bad, he will smack them like he has done throughout history. Babylon, Rome. There's more than one time when the Israelites have made the Almighty angry and he's scattered them like leaves to the wind. So I'm not going to, I don't think anybody should actively get involved in helping Israel. God has that well in hand. He will deal with them as he sees fit. And I'm going to sit there and just be, okay, good for you. And then when I see them get blown up, I'm like, you made him mad again, didn't you? No, it's not our job to protect them. Why is it the job of the little brother to protect the big brother? No, they are older than us. Do it yourself.
okay, so what? Like, we have overlapping interests with Israel. Who cares if these evangelicals want to protect Israel, right? Well, there's a little more to it. Basically, the evangelical dispensationalist belief goes like this. Step 1. The Jewish people return to the land of Israel. Step 2. Israel becomes the main character in a massive war. Step 3. Global destruction called the Tribulation occurs. Step 4. Armageddon happens. And step 5. Jesus Christ returns. Behold!
This is why I'm single. As devout as I am, I can't take these kind of women seriously because there are so many, this leans so much in the trad wife thing. I cannot stand these kinds of women because they don't, they are, if you've ever heard the old stories, it's them fat old broads who sit around the holier than thous, who will sit in church and say, amen, hallelujah. And then as they do, they'll see a woman come in with 3 kids and they don't have a father. And she has no clue why that is. The woman's brought them to church. She's doing her best. She works 3 jobs to take care of her. And she'll lean over and whisper, I'm oh, look, it's the town whore. She came into town. It's a church again. Who lets that filth in here? Them kind of bitches. Them kind of people. So many of them are like this. Now, I don't know this woman, so I'm not going to badmouth her. But she has all the markings of a trad Christian, and I can't stand them because they are such, what was it, as Christ said, they are plants with such shallow roots. They spring up quickly, but the minute the sun strikes them, they shrivel up. I can't stand these kind of people because they are such sunshine Christians. The minute adversity starts smacking them, they start crying, why isn't God helping them? It's just, I can't, and that's a lot of evangelicals too. So many times it's them talking about, what? Oh, God's gonna give you this. God's gonna give you that. God's gonna, in the words of JFK, to paraphrase that man, ask not what God can do for you, ask what you can do for God. This is the problem with Christianity in general, is so many people are so obsessed with using God like a piggy bank of getting money. rather than thinking, how can I be a better human being today and not be an utter piece of shit? Like, the modern society is because of Christians being fake. I can say that with absolute authority. Anyway, carry on with the trad, psycho.
The fruits of Martin Luther. To get my biases out of the way a little bit, I was born and raised Catholic.
There it is! Fucking there it is! 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 Someone badmouthed Martin Luther. Catholic identified. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. Is that her mother? Hold on. Hold on a second. Is that Mama Shoe? Is that Mama Shoe? Damn. She gets good genes. Mama Shoe good looking. I guess the shoe isn't on the other foot after all. Damn, girl. Oh my god. Anyway, carrying on.
Union, confirmation, catechism class for years, all that stuff. I stopped caring for a while. I had like a edgy atheist stage as a teenager. Then I was agnostic for a while, and then in 2020, when I moved back home during COVID, I returned to Catholicism. Needless to say, I am comfortable with identifying as Catholic again today. I don't talk about this shit because it's not relevant, but it's relevant here. I have many Protestant friends, a few are evangelical.
Okay, before she goes any deeper in this, because this is where she's probably gonna start crashing out. Yeah, that's actually a pipeline for a lot of Catholics. Is a lot of Catholics will grow up, their lives are very strict, their families are very strict, they're constricted very much in their behavior, like in Catholic school. They will absolutely rebel 100%. A lot of them go atheist. Like, I can show you so many prominent atheists who are raised Catholic. Like, the nuns need to stop hitting them, please. You're not helping the cause. And they'll go off and do this, and then after a while, real life will smack them in the face, and they'll realize, oh shit, like, those rules had purpose, maybe I should go back to them, and then they'll be like, hey, these rules work, maybe there's something behind them, I still don't believe in God, and then finally, full circle, especially usually when they have kids, oh, no, I should go back to the church, I left something good. Like, so yeah, that I can promise you this isn't going to win her any friends among the liberals. They're going to freaking eat her for this. But it's good to see that she came back to it. You know, she had her apostate moment, but then she came back. Welcome back to the church, love. But like, this is the thing. Like, it's so common among the Catholics to do this. But as opposed to Protestants, when it comes to Protestants, it's just like a raised, kind of get an apathy for it, and then they just drop off. And it's not so much like a epiphany, it's just a I don't want to go anymore, and I don't care anymore kind of thing. It just fades from them. But yeah, she followed the pipeline.
This isn't to like hate on them, even though I'm going to be making jokes, but it's just to shine a light on a heavy bias some people in power may have towards the Middle East. If a bunch of Catholics were in power pushing for us to go to war for the Vatican or something, that would also be a conversation worth having. But that is not happening right now.
Well, we're not
and if
gonna
you're
have a
wondering why
crusade?
Ted Cruz suddenly out of nowhere is sharing like 10,000 word AI slop Twitter essays about how Catholics are parasites, it's because he's butthurt that Catholics don't believe in the same doomsday prophecy about Israel as him and other evangelicals do. Catholics are not religiously obligated to support Israel. Same with Orthodox.
They actually kind of don't. I'm not going to get into the history of the Catholics and the Jews, but yeah, they kind of actively don't.
And honestly, most branches of Christianity, evangelical Protestants, on the other hand,
they'd rather start at the Kingdom of Jerusalem
read and think the modern state of Israel is the same Israel mentioned in the Bible.
Okay, how to say this? Technically, yes, not the same state. That's kind of like saying how France is not the same France that was under Charlemagne, correct? It's not the same France that was under King Louis, correct? It's not the same France that was under Robespierre, correct? It's not the same France that was under Napoleon, correct? It's not the same France that was under anything because it's been through like 50 different governments. Same thing. Israel is not the same Israel of the ancient lands. Just like modern day Poland is not the same Poland that rode on the winged hussars in the siege of Vienna in 1683. Just because the Kievan Rus, the Rus, the Ukraine is not the Kievan Rus. That nation's dead. The Russians are not the Muscovite Principality. That nation is dead. It was crushed by the Mongols. They can claim it as much as they want. Even modern day England isn't really England because it's not the same England that Alfred the Great founded. You can play this game all day long. The question is the people there the same identity that they were at the time? And a lot of people are going to say no because, so many Jews immigrated from Europe, but, they kind of went to Europe because they left Israel in the first place. So there's a bit of a debate there on that subject. And kind of you can even look in the Bible, Israel from pre-Babylonian expulsion, which was, what was it? It was 604 BC that they were expelled by Nebuchadnezzar. And it wasn't until, or was it 608? No, it was 608 when they were expelled from by Nebuchadnezzar when he actually conquered Jerusalem. And it wasn't until 538 BC when Cyrus the Great of Persia actually returned them to Israel. So even there, those Israels are not the same. Even the Israel of Rehoboam is not the same as the Israel of David, his grandfather, and Solomon, his father, because the nations split into Israel and Judea. So, there's even Italy today is not the same Italy as it was of Rome. History changes. So, I'm curious what she's going to say when it comes to the interpretation of the Holy Scripts.
This would be like the fry cook at McDonald's being named Jesus and you falling to your knees and worshiping him as the savior.
No, not the same thing.
And then blowing up the world for him.
I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that. Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible.
Why?
Those who bless it.
Stop. Okay. I see where he's going here. He's going to say those who bless Israel are blessed by God.
Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel.
To think all of the...
How does it so? So there is a saying among them. So the line does go, they who bless you shall be blessed, they who curse you shall be cursed. Again, I'm going to remind people that in the biblical scripts, in the books of Kings, when they talk about all the kings of Israel, all the kings of Judea, and eventually their destruction, there is more than one time when God let the Assyrians break and bust them. They demolished Israel. They rode into the city and circled Jerusalem. And Hezekiah had to pray on the freaking walls, begging God to get rid of them. Babylon burned it to the ground. Rome burned it to the ground. There have been so many nations throughout history who have absolutely... The Philistines enslaving them and breaking them under heel. Again, blessing them is not the same as serving. Bless them, absolutely. Bless Israel. Let them be prosperous. Let them be successful. But I also bless all the people there. I help all of them find peace. I hope all of them find success. And I hope all of them learn to live in peace amongst each other. Stop killing each other because you have different beliefs. You frickin' savages. Try to talk to each other. And yes, I'll call them savages. Any people who want to murder somebody because they have a different opinion on religion is a savage. I don't care who you are or your religion. Talk, damn it. But, there's a difference between blessing Israel and doing whatever they want. And I feel like too many people, when it comes to this, has money in their pockets from other people.
This could have been avoided.
I'm very opinionated about this.
Sand, New Jersey.
No,
Dispensationalists
blow it
take
up
the
then.
Bible extremely literally. They're basically like the autism of Christianity, which is why so many Protestant evangelicals in our government are Zionists. Now, let's discuss the word Zionist, because I know that word like makes some of you cringe, and I don't blame you, because it's kind of just like thrown around
Somewhere the
haphazardly
alt-right
today.
just
It basically
cringed.
means nothing anymore. There are Zionists of all races and religions. Not all Jewish people are
Zionists wanted to create a Jewish state in Palestine with as much land, as many Jews, and as few Palestinian Arabs as possible. I don't know about that last part, but yeah, Zionism originally was an old movement in the 1800s to create a nation of Israel. A lot of Jews with money and influence wanted to recreate the Holy Land because they're Jews. Surprise. They wanted to do the same. They wanted to return to the land after a couple thousand years. So, like, and it was by a lot of European Jews, because Jews never left Israel. They've been there for frickin' ever. So, it is very cool. But the number 4 and 5, I don't know about that. I'm going to need to see a charter, please.
Zionists. Not all Zionists are Jewish. Most Zionists in our government
True.
are not Jewish. So
True.
don't let them ever guilt trip you into thinking you're anti-Semitic for criticizing people like Ted Cruz. Also, it's not anti-Semitic to criticize the
to hell with Cruz.
Jewish
He's
people
an
in our
idiot.
government either. Like Randy Fine, bro is a freak.
What
There's
the
a
hell?
reason the first time I shook Netanyahu's hand, I did not wash it until I could touch the heads of my children. What the fuck? Anyway,
Bro, he's not Abraham. What do you mean? He's not Israel himself. God, I don't... Netanyahu. World leader, not commenting on him, but... Ugh.
contrary to popular belief, Zionism does not mean when you like passively support Israel as like a good ally to have in the Middle East. That is not what
That
being
should
a
be what you
Zionist
should
is.
do.
It's like a
That should be
whole
blessing them.
ideology. It's like a movement. Now, one of the major characters who believes in this like doomsday lore anime is Lindsey Graham. If you don't know
Oh,
who Lindsey Graham is, you've probably seen him on Fox News a few times. He's been on like every single night the past 3 weeks. To make it
This
short, he is
motherfucker.
the senator of South Carolina, and he is a
One of
notorious
them.
neocon warhawk. He has
can't stand
never
this
met
guy.
a war he didn't like. He is basically the real-life version of the Holden Blood Feast meme. That is Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey, girl's name by the way, believes that defending Israel...
What kind of shade is that, Shu? Jesus. Oh my God, this woman, I swear.
is God's will, and has said things like,
If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
and I wouldn't blame anybody if they assumed he was the senator of Tel Aviv and not the senator of South Carolina. When his own state was hit with a massive hurricane, bro said this.
God bless you, but look, you know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends.
The man even outright says he would support a foreign country over the citizens of America.
All the anti-Seminites to all the isolationists.
Seminites.
I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
The anti-Semites and the isolationists? The isolation... Saying you aren't with Americans and are with a foreign country is so fucking insane for a United States politician to say. How is this guy
calm
still in
down.
office? This is like borderline treasonous.
Israel and the United
He's an
States,
absolute
you just
idiot.
wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks, meaning what?
The
We're
next
gonna
2
blow the hell
weeks.
out of these people.
I'm sorry, we're gonna what? It's not war if the balls don't touch. Okay, so Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz are weird, American last freaks who believe this doomsday shit, but like, who cares, right? There's a bunch of those guys, like, who gives a fuck what they believe? Well, here's the issue. Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham might be the little birdies in Trump's ear pushing us to do this war.
I urge the president.
I don't know about that, because Trump doesn't like either of their asses. Like, he can't stand... Like, both of them tried to go after him when he was running for president. He doesn't forget shit. He has grudges. He keeps that shit, like, for a while. Like, he's like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. He remembers shit. He don't forget shit. So, I don't know how much that's true. Trump doesn't do shit for that reason. He doesn't. I promise you, Trump is not attacking Israel. Iran for Israel's sake. I can promise you he's not doing that because the man doesn't give a shit. Let's see if she gets to the point because I have a different opinion.
To launch this attack, as you noted, I was with him pretty much the entire day on Friday before the attack launched on Saturday. Pretty much the whole time he was asking me what I thought we should do on Iran.
And Lindsey Graham apparently had direct
second.
contact with Netanyahu. To help make the case on Iran, Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency. They'll tell me things our own government won't tell me, he said. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. Netanyahu showed the president intelligence that persuaded Trump to go ahead, Graham said. Ah yes, Netanyahu, someone we should definitely...
Again, this is their words. And I know people are like, well, Trump hasn't contradicted. Again, he will let people say shit and doesn't care. He'll deal with it later.
Only listen to when it comes to this subject.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
No question whatsoever.
Again, don't trust him. He's a politician.
It's crazy how I literally warned about this happened. Like months ago, I literally warned the administration, keep away from Lindsey Graham. Trump, listen to me. Wait.
Trump doesn't listen to shit.
Vance, listen to me. Get people like Lindsey Graham far away from anyone in power right now. This little Venezuela stunt was cute, but we are not touching any other countries. We're not touching the Middle East, especially. No more Middle East. We all have Middle East fatigue. I just need to say, I don't like being correct about this stuff. I would rather be wrong. I would love nothing more than to be f***ing wrong about everything. If we don't put boots on the ground, if we don't create a new forever war, that would be the best thing ever. You can come back to this video and say, na boo boo, you were wrong. And I would be like, hell yeah. Fantastic. That would be wonderful. I will personally write a handwritten letter apologizing to Cat Turd for not trusting the plan. I don't know what the is gonna happen. All I know is I saw a commercial for the military with white men in it. So, not a good sign. And right now, as I am making this video, our good friend Lindsey Graham is talking about putting boots on the ground.
Here's what I tell
He needs to
President
shut the hell
Trump.
up.
Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground?
We did Iwo Jima. We can do this.
We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. What the f***? For those unaware, Iwo Jima was one of the most brutal battles of World War II. About as many Americans died in that battle than all of the Iraq and Afghanistan war combined. This guy's a f***ing freak, dude. Also, who the f*** is we? We? You enlisting, Lindsey Graham? Bitch.
Well, we have the best chance in 2,000 years when Iran is neutralized.
I'm sorry, I thought this war started in 1979, when the Iranian Revolution overthrew the puppet government we installed in the 1950s. But I guess I was wrong. This war actually started 2,000 years ago. That's right, it's not about weapons of mass destruction. It's not about bringing democracy to Iran. Turns out we're fighting an ancient desert war. Exactly what MAGA voted for. Another factor that is relevant to these warmongers banging on the war drum is, of course, money. Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham receive a ton of money from AIPAC. Many politicians in our government are paid by AIPAC. Democrat and Republican.
Notice how, hold on, AIPAC, Dem, Republican, Democrat, AIPAC, Dem, AIPAC, Republican, vacant. Wow. Notice how there's no distinguishing between the Republicans and Democrats. Way more Republicans, though, than Dems. So, that doesn't mean anything. That just means the remaining Dems are just being paid by China.
Which is why you probably don't see a ton of anti-Iran war stuff coming from even the Democrats, when they would usually jump on literally anything to make Orange Man look bad. The only thing Democrats and Republicans can agree on is protecting pedophiles and war. Great. AIPAC stands for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Now, you might sometimes see people bring up like AIPAC money, like, oh, this guy takes AIPAC money. And maybe some of you don't really understand like why that's a big deal. So I'm going to explain it in a nuanced way you can hopefully understand. The reason why people don't like big money being involved in politics in general is because it can literally purchase the way a politician will govern. For example, if a billionaire CEO of a health insurance company donates to a politician, you can bet that politician is probably not going to advocate for things like socialized healthcare or anything like that. And if a candidate takes a lot of money from something like AIPAC, that is a sign they will probably have a heavy bias toward war in the Middle East. That's why people prefer when a candidate only takes like small donations from voters. There's no corporations, billionaires, or foreign governments pulling the strings there.
Which is one of the things that Trump really took a lot of it.
The people. I am funded directly by Big Simp. Some politicians get paid a lot by AIPAC. And some politicians sell out for the price of a Big Mac and fries.
What the? Okay, I'm sorry. Can we just... Democrat, 12 million. Independent expenditures and campaign donations received from the pro-Israeli lobby. I think they're just throwing it to everybody. Like, they're like, a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. Why'd the Republican get so little? Probably because of the evangelical angle.
Yikes. Weird fact, one of the top donors to AIPAC was actually the creator of OnlyFans who died recently. He gave like millions of dollars to AIPAC, and AIPAC gives millions of dollars to the people in Congress. So in a weird way, our government was partially funded by OnlyFans whores. Checks out. But you got...
I don't want to be on this planet anymore.
Gotta understand, a lot of these guys would do it for free.
Yeah.
Hypothetical. One country must no longer exist. A, the United States. B, Israel.
One of these things has ceased to exist before. I will let it cease to exist again.
Choose. Read Revelations and report back. When people talk about the separation of church and state, this is the shit they're talking about.
Yeah,
what the f***? Like, what do you mean there's an American...
I mean, just think about the Vatican when they had power over the state and they were their own absolute country. Like, it doesn't work out. People get corrupt as hell.
Politician saying he would rather the nation he allegedly serves be destroyed over evangelical Wakanda. Get this guy out of here! I actually responded to this guy, and we had a little Twitter fight, and he just told me to read the Bible. There are people in charge of our country right now who believe we have to go to war for a biblical prophecy. That is a giant, major conflict of interest.
And it's conflict against the own words of Christ. Is that no man will know the time nor day, not even the angels of heaven know this. Only God knows when apocalypse comes. Yet people still try to make it happen. I'm like, guys, God decides, not you. Shut up and live your life.
We need to be asking people like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, Mike Huckabee, Mike Johnson. We need to be asking all these evangelicals in office the same exact question. Also, I just checked how much this guy gets paid from AIPAC, and
let me guess, 34.
Whoa, buddy!
Whoa, $1 million.
Okay, so here's where it gets schizophrenic as While I am telling you this, please keep in mind, I don't believe this. This is what they believe. Because as I was writing this, I felt like a crazy person. With the evangelical doomsday lore, there is something called the Third Temple. In Judaism, there were two temples. There was the first temple built around 10th century BC, and the second temple rebuilt around the exile. And the third temple is this idea.
First temple was built by Solomon. Wait, hold on. What year did she say?
And the second, there were two temples. There was the first temple built around 10th century BC.
11th. A lot of people will put it at 10th century and say that Solomon built it around 900 and something. Their chronology's off. They're using the Masoretic text instead of using the actual Septuagint text, which is far older. The Masoretic was 1100 AD, so the Septuagint is 300 BC. Far more accurate data. So if you go by the proper dating and timing, Solomon built it around the 11th century. 11th century AD, not the 10th century AD, which would have been around 1000 and something in BC instead of 900 something BC. That's why there's so little archaeological evidence for it, because they're looking in the wrong damn strata. But yeah, that was the first temple, and then after the exile, they came back, and it was under. My mind's blanking. He's in the Bible. He has a book written about him. They built it again, and it stayed there until the Romans came, and when they sacked Judea, what's his name? Josephus was there, and he begged them, please spare the temple, please. And they were going to, but then during the looting, burning, and murdering and raping, someone set the rafters on fire, and the thing burned down. So I think he cried when that happened, but that was around like 180 or something.
And the second temple rebuilt around the exile. And the third temple is this idea that a new
Why'd she do air quotes?
New Jewish temple will be built on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem to help usher in end times. Also, interesting side note here, Jewish people, especially Orthodox Chabad Jews, who are basically like the evangelicals of Judaism, believe building this temple will not bring on the end times, but the Messianic Age, otherwise known as the Golden Age, where everyone will live under Noahide law. Messianic Age,
I'm sorry, but the light bulbs on the menorahs, bro. They got the little eco light bulbs up there, bro. Why? They're saving money. They won't put candles. Christ above, save me. You have the Torah up there with the 12 tribes. But no, you put freaking eco light bulbs, motherfuckers. Shame! Shame upon you, upon your house. No shalom for you. Oh my God.
Otherwise known as the Golden Age, where everyone will live under Noahide laws, where the concept of worshiping Jesus would basically be illegal. Meanwhile, the evangelical end times, the Jews will convert to Christianity. So Christians and Jews are both looking to build this thing for very different reasons that do not complement each other at all, yet they are both working together to do it. And both think they will be right in the end. Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, has openly talked about rebuilding the Third Temple.
And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment...
Wait, how old is this? He looks young. When was this?
...of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Is she going to bring up the Dome of the Rock? Is she going to bring up the dome? I'm curious to see if she's going to bring up the dome.
And we just want affordable homes and groceries. What is this shit? And Pete Hegseth, according to the president, is apparently the guy who does not want the war to end.
I said, Pete and General Raisin Cain, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled.
So, what is so bad about rebuilding this temple? If none of this is true, like, who gives a shit? Like, freedom of religion. Well, here's the issue. If the goal is to trigger a massive war in order to get Jesus to return, they will do shit to make that happen. They will want to destroy and destabilize the Middle East, and they will use your sons and daughters to do it for them.
I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast.
Wow, the childless warmonger with no stake in the future and moles on his ass wants our children to go fight and die in another pointless war? That last thing is true, by the way, about the moles. Look it up. Actually, don't.
Wait, what? Hold on. What'd she say?
It's our children to go fight and die in warmonger.
I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast.
Wow, the childless warmonger with no stake in the future and moles on his ass wants our children to go fight and die in another pointless war? That last thing is true, by the way, about the moles. Look it up.
Why do you know this? Why? Okay, apparently he has ass cancer, so he is a literal blemish on the ass of humanity.
Actually, don't. Don't. You'll regret it. Don't. Also, the area they
Too
want to
late.
build this temple thing on already has like
There it is.
a big mosque on it called the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Al-Aqsa
I don't know how
Mosque.
to fucking say that. And destroying this site would have like devastating
World
consequences.
War 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd literally have to exterminate the entire Islamic religion to get rid of this thing. Because Jerusalem, even though it's not the first holiest site, nor is it the second holiest site, that's Mecca and Medina, it is the third holiest site in all of Islam. And this is supposed, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque is where Muhammad ascended to heaven upon the back of the kitten to find the word of God. It's a very sacred site. So, yeah, they will not let anybody have this. So, you're going to have to break that and tear it
For
down.
the Middle East and for us, not that they care. Just keep an eye out if that Al-Aqsa Mosque gets conveniently destroyed by a rogue Iranian missile or something in the upcoming days of this war. So,
okay, just out of sheer sake, I hope it doesn't, because it's such a beautiful construction and it's so wonderfully designed and it's such a historical. I can't remember when it was built. I actually need to research that. But like, let's not annihilate beautiful ancient temples and structures, even of organizations and people. Like, that's one of the things I can't stand about the fucking Taliban, is that they will do that. I am no Buddhist. I am far from it. Like I said, I'm Christian. But like, they will go up to Buddhist statues carved into the mountains of Pakistan and Afghanistan, centuries, millennia old, and they will blow them up because the fuckers have no sense of dignity. Like, assholes, turn it into a freaking tourist trap and then just make money off of it. Stop damaging history because you don't like it. Damn it.
yes, it is a holy war. We are being non-consensually dragged into a holy war by 3 different sets of desert people, just as I started to get my life together. Now here is the important question. Could all this doomsday talk these politicians are saying out loud just be religious pandering to the massive evangelical population that votes for the GOP to get them to vote for a war that is ultimately about, you know, like land and weapons and territory or whatever the Yes, absolutely yes. It could all be bullshit. They might not actually believe it. I mean, a bunch of politicians, like, they're going to islands and like rape kids. You think these people believe in God? But remember, like I said, many do. Sometimes people really do believe in things and they will kill and die for them. Or, you know, make you go kill and die for them. I know it's hard for people to understand this. They understand it perfectly well when it comes to radical Islam, when Muslims will like blow themselves up for Allah or whatever the Yet when it comes to other religions, like, they can't really comprehend it. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean the people who do won't do crazy shit. Like, because they believe in something. U.S. commanders across more than 30 military bases told troops the Iran war was part of God's plan and linked it to Armageddon. A commander said Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. The Military Religious Freedom Foundation says it has received over 110 similar complaints describing the war as biblically sanctioned and a sign of the Christian end times. So here's
So if 110 of those, even if only half of them were real, that's concerning. That people are concerning. The commanders are saying that. What the hell are you doing? Like, and it's just disturbing.
the question.
I'm
Does
tired.
Trump believe in this?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No,
But the
it's
people
Trump.
around him do, and they talk about it all the time. And after Trump was like a millimeter away from being brutally and horrifically assassinated on live TV, probably not good or healthy that he has people like Mike Huckabee in his ear, the United States ambassador to Israel, saying this shit in regards to bombing Iran. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania, to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decision on your shoulders, I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there is only one voice that matters. His voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and I am available for you. But I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours. Not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee.
Who writes a text like that? That sounds like some kind of missive from George Washington in 1775. Like, who writes like that? And why would he sign his name at the bottom? He just texts the motherfucker. That reeks to me of fabrication.
It's Truman in 1945. What did he mean by this, chat? In conclusion...
God. She means in 1945, I know what she's leaning towards. She's talking about the nuke. But also there was the mistake in 46 of not finishing off Russia. But I digress.
Evangelical Wakanda is an interesting aspect to all of this to consider. It might not be the only cause of the war. I don't think it is. I think there's many different reasons. But I think it is pretty important to consider the fact that there are people in power right now who are very close to the President of the United States who may be a teeny itsy bitsy bit biased when it comes to war in the Middle East. Also, draft Lindsey Graham.
Yes.
That is all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. If you guys want a completely uncensored version of this video with no bleeps, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All Patreons get a raw version of each video a day before. Become a member of Big Simp today. Also, big shout out to Ground News again for sponsoring this video. It was hard to get a sponsor for this video. I was about to do it with no sponsor, and Ground News was like, sure, we'll do it. Talk about whatever you want. Like, that's based. That's based. Go give them some love. And I will see you guys next time with a slop video.
With the shoe.
I promise.
Don't believe you. Okay, before she pops in with her last minute comment, quick take. Trump doesn't believe any of it. He's using these idiots to gain support so he can shut the Democrats up because he knows AIPAC has them under control. And what he's mostly trying to do is gain control over the Strait of Hormuz, which there's some nice little islands there. If I was him, I'd be like, hey, Shaw, we'll give you your country back. You give us these islands. I'd set up air bases, Marine Corps bases, and Navy bases, and Army bases on those islands, and I would own the fucking Strait of Hormuz. Guess what goes through there? Almost all of China's oil. Guess who we get to fuck over? China. I think that's what the war is about. Not only do we take out an asshole who's been funding military conflict in the Middle East for like fucking forever, and also beating the shit out of a son of a bitch who wants nukes to kill us before they get nukes, and also just reminding everybody, don't fuck with us. But we also cut off the Strait of Hormuz and gain control over a massive land connection of international trade through the ocean, and can start to strangle one of our greatest enemies of power and resources. That's what Trump's up to. Because if you don't believe me, we're going to go after we are slowly strangling Cuba. That's to eliminate the last real threat we have in our hemisphere of a communist or a foreign entity that would dare look to China or Russia for support and threaten us in the Western Hemisphere. He's reestablishing the Monroe Doctrine. And if you don't believe me, I can tell you right now, the next place he's probably going to go to is probably going to be Malaysia. And the strait that's over there, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but there's a strait right there in Malaysia, around Indonesia, which I think Singapore is down there. And that is going to be the next place he's going to go for, because he wants a strong influence there. Probably going to just tell them to, hey, give us land, we'll pay for it, and we'll build a Navy base there. Why? Because now we have that choke point. And if he gets that, the Strait of Hormuz gains control over Cuba, to which we now pretty much have, we eventually gain control over the Caribbean, so now we can control whatever goes in and out of the Panama Canal. We eventually get a base up in Greenland like we used to have, so now we can control what goes around the Arctic Circle through that strait, and eventually he's going to go over to Malaysia and start messing with Singapore and say, hey, give us land around here and start a naval base. We would then control every single major waterway trade point in the world. He who controls the trade controls the world. That's what he's doing. Mark me. But I'm just a talking fox on the internet. Anyway. 3, 2, 1. You know she's gonna pop back up. There it is.
For I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
Oh my God. Well, take care, everybody. See you in Armageddon.